All right. So today on NewbieVeT, got a special guest, an iconic guest, pioneer, OG, the great, legendary Prince Rahiem.
What's good, family? How you, man?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Blessed to be doing this interview, man. Man, how you been living, man?
Man, I can't complain. I'm blessed to still be working, bro.
Man,
you know?
man, blessed to still be alive, too.
Yes, sir.
We're
Yes,
losing
sir.
a lot of greats.
Oh, yeah, we are. Recently, I lost a few of my friends in the game. Total Chaos, who created More Money. Cooley C out of Palm Beach County. You know, Big Ace, we lost him a couple of years back. Another great icon. So yeah, we're going. Oh man, I'm messing up now. We you know, we're losing our greats left and right. Biz Markie recently, you know. So,
yeah. And
that was a big one for me because those who know my history know that I came from the beatbox world. I wasn't initially an MC.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
so you basically from Florida, Miami.
Yes, sir.
Miami. So quick description, how was it for you growing up in Miami and what got you into the music?
Well, honestly, I'm originally a New York native.
Okay.
That was a transplant to Miami. I had a friend of mine, Divine, God bless the dead, Robert. He was an OG to me, and he was the MC. I was a beatbox. His brother was a part of a group called the Afros, who was managed by Jam Master Jay back in the day. And his brother told us, yo, there's a little audition up at Jamaica Park. Y'all need to come. Running them looking for somebody to open up this tour we about to go on. So, you know, we showed up. We the youngest in the spot. You feel me? You had Curtis Blow, Salt and Pepper, Run DMC, LL, everybody's in the park. Bimmy, if those who know the history of Queens and Southside Jamaica, Supreme, you know, big names.
Big names.
Heavy names in the game.
Heavy names.
So all of them are out on Jamaica Park, and here comes this little 13-year-old dude grabbing the mic when they asked who wanted to audition. Got on the mic, my boy Robert started doing a little freestyle, and I started beatboxing behind him. Man, the whole park lit up. You know, what most didn't understand was I was trained by one of the greatest beatboxers in the world. He goes by the name of Rozelle, the godfather of noise, formerly of the group The Roots. So, you know, my extensive history in hip hop, man, it's deep, you know? So
way back.
Basically what took place was my partner got murdered 2 weeks before we were scheduled to do the tour. And the people who wanted him dead came looking for me as well. So my family relocated me to Florida. You know, I went down to Florida. I was first in Orlando. Shout out to Orlando. Y'all know what it is, man.
Shout
a lot of
Orlando.
you know, have a lot of good friends and family there. You know, my great uncle who took me in. So we there. I'm the odd man out. Nobody don't know me. I'm a little kid, dressed different, talk different, walk different. You feel me? So we get there. I'm in the school. I'm meeting people, but not really clicking with people really like that. You feel me?
Right.
Cause I'm the sore thumb.
Right.
You feel me? Well, what ultimately happens is I see a cipher during lunch period. And there's this dude beatboxing. And I'm like, man, I could take him. This is my way to get in. So I go in, I join the cipher. And they like, man, we see you over there in New York. What you got?
Right.
I said, what I got? I said, I got a little something like. So I gave him a little something, warmed him up.
Right.
And he's looking like, oh man, that ain't shit. So here he come, he's a heavy dude. So he had real deep bass.
Right.
But he couldn't do melody.
Right.
So I said, I'm about to end this real quick for you. I said, man, that heavy bass shit you doing, that's a thing of the past. When I look at beatboxers like you, all I do is laugh. Shut him down real quick. Deaded it. You know what I mean? So at that point, there was somebody in the crowd that was like, yo, Ra, I gotta introduce you to this DJ. He the hottest DJ in Orlando right now.
Right.
He go by the name of Magic Mike. I'm like, all right, link it up, bro. So he hooked me up with him the next day. Mike saw me, met me, and truth be told, I wasn't an MC. That's what he was expecting.
Right.
So he was like, man, let me hear you spit something. I'm not an MC.
Yeah.
So Real quick off the top of my head, I thought, well, damn, he's in Orlando. I'm from New York, so I know he ain't heard this record.
Right.
There was a record called Girls, I Get 'Em Hot by Casanova Rudd and Reddy Roxy.
Right.
Bruh, I spit one of their verses. I could tell looking at his face, he already knew, like, man, this nigga spit somebody else shit. But guess what? He heard the vocal tone, and he said, man, if you could spit that, bruh, I know you can write.
Right.
He said, come back here tomorrow, we gonna work. We started working. A couple of months in, we done recorded a couple of records. I'm getting better in the craft. You feel what I'm saying? And he's like, man, there's a talent show coming up next week. I want you to enter. Unbeknownst to us, on the other side of this talent show, they were having a bass concert. Now, again, my first introduction to bass when I got there was this dude who had a baby blue Cutlass with T-tops named Sugar. He had two 15s and two 12s in the back of his car. And the very first mixtape DJ I heard was Jam Pony Express, Slick Vic. Jamming MC80E bass mechanic.
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to bass. I fell in love with it from that point.
Right.
We didn't know it was a bass concert going on the other side. Get there, I'm doing my thing on the stage with the beatbox as they were taking intermission.
Yeah.
So in comes Clay D, in comes Dickie Hazley, in comes Alan Johnson, who's the founder of the Southeastern Music Conference that was going on for years.
Yeah.
They all telling me, hey man, I can make you a star. But I don't know who none of them are.
Right.
I'm from New York, I don't know none of them. I just left a situation with Run DMC. I don't know who the hell you are, but you telling me you can make me a star.
Right.
Man, I ain't believe none of that shit, bro. That's keeping it 1,000. Yeah. I didn't believe none of them. Yeah. But there was one dude who was real persistent. His name was Clay D, BeatmasterClay Dixon. He wouldn't let up. He wouldn't let me walk away without saying that I'd give him an opportunity to show me. So he was like, listen, man, fuck what everybody else talking about. If you don't believe me, give me 2 weeks. I'm gonna send a plane ticket for you. I said, a plane ticket for who? To where? He said, a plane ticket from Orlando to Miami. I said, for who? He said, for you. I said, well, if my DJ don't go, I can't go. He was like, well, I'll send a ticket for both of y'all. That following week, bro, 2 weeks later, I'm fucking off after school, didn't get home on time. My uncle screamed on me as soon as I walk in the door. Boy, where you been? Man, that boy from Miami done called. He done bought your ticket, nigga. You done missed your plane. Man, call the boy right now. So I'm like, damn, all right, huh? I get on the phone. He like, man, I ain't even got you signed to a deal yet and you costing me money already, bro. What's good? Man, how you missed the flight? I said, man, I ain't believe you, bro. I ain't know who you was. He said, well, Mike already caught the flight. He down here already. I'm going to rebook you a flight. Get down here. Catch the next flight. Uncle dropped me off to the airport. Went down there. And dog, the rest was history. I became a legend, man. I met some of the greatest artists in the world. When I think of my history, I think of those who I was taught under. You know, most rappers in my genre were taught by other rappers or idolized or looked at other rappers to learn how to entertain and perform.
Right.
Me being signed to a label called Vision under BeatmasterClay D, I was offered an opportunity that most of them weren't. I actually was in the studio with Miss Betty Wright, God bless the dead, who mentored me as a young child artist. She groomed me and showed me the difference between getting on stage and performing your record and getting on stage and entertaining. There's a difference.
Yeah.
You know? So she was one of the greats who taught me, and I cherished all of those lessons. You know, I actually was in the studio to watch her record No Pain, No Gain. And that's something that most people will never be able to say. I'm the only one who can say that, aside from the label execs who were there. You feel me? And I'll cherish that for the rest of my life. But one of the other great mentors that I've had, who's still a mentor and friend to this day, Michael Sterling.
Lovers and Friends.
Lovers and Friends.
Oh, yeah.
The original.
The original.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people didn't know the name. They didn't know who he was. You know, they remember Usher did Lovers and Friends, but they didn't know where that record came from, where it originated.
Right.
It originated from an R&B artist by the name of Michael Sterling out of Miami, Florida.
He got plenty of hits.
Does he? Man, bevy of hits. I mean, the man is still touring. The man still looks young. The man looks 40 years old right now. The man looks 30, 40 right now. You understand me?
Right.
So he's taking care of himself, and this industry is taking care of him as well. He handled his business. And he taught me there's a difference between performing and entertaining. I want you to learn to entertain, interact with your crowd, interact with that audience, become one with that audience, because everything you give them, I promise they'll give it back. He never lied to me, man. Right. He never lied.
Right.
So, you know, I was blessed to travel the world, man, and see so many different things, dog. Like, my career has definitely been a blessing up to this point, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, man, let's go into when it first jumped off for you.
Okay.
When you realized, like, I've made it. Like, how did you, like, what was your mind state, like, at that time when you realized, like, I'm here?
Okay. If I could think back on any defining moment, there were actually 3 moments that let me know we've arrived.
Okay.
The first moment was 1988 at the baseball stadium.
The baseball stadium, okay.
Yeah. It was the 2 Live Crew homecoming tour.
Mm-hmm.
And you had everybody from Slick Rick to EPMD, Ice-T, what's them boys who sang So Damn Tough? I can't think of their names right now. It slips me. Mm-hmm. But you had acts from all over. They were originally from Philly, and they had this record, So Damn Tough, Rock On. Record was hot back then. Me and Clay was on this show, and in the middle of our performance, the power went out. The only thing on stage was working were the lights and the mics. My DJ had no power. So we had to figure this time out. So of course I did what I do best. I beatboxed in front of 30,000 and made every last one of them scream like a schoolgirl. You feel me? That moment, that night, I was like, damn. Like, now this city knows who the fuck I am. Yeah. I stamped my name in Miami that night. But it got better. You know, that second moment was when Clay and I created a record. We did an album. The name of the album was Shake Them Titties. That's the name of the album. That was the lead single. But on that project, we had a record called Nothing, where we used the sample from Sade. Now, all before this, I've written Stomp and Grind for Half Pint. You know, I done toured with Cool Rock and Chazzy Chaz, who did Boot the Booty. I'm on the backgrounds of those vocals, and like, my career is building. I'm growing as an artist. It wasn't until we released the Shake Them Titties project and we got a cease and desist from Sade.
Oh, man.
She said, we can't sell it. She wanted all the proceeds from it. Now, at first, my man Clay was mad. He was mad.
Yeah.
Me? I was like, nigga, that's Sade, dog. She noticed that, man, our record gotta be doing something, dog.
Hey,
he was like, man, you know what? I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
I said, bro, we made it. We arriving, dog.
Right.
We stepping into our season.
Right.
Well, with the cease and desist, we immediately had to go back in the studio because she froze the whole album. We couldn't sell nothing off of it. So whatever 12 inches was out there, was out there. Whoever had bought the album had got it. There was no more to be pressed.
Oh, that's a limited edition.
Limited. You understand? That record has value. A lot of people don't know that. So boom, man. We went right back in the lab. We had went out to this club one night. Went out to the Infernos. My homeboy Dickie Mo, God bless the dead, he was the owner of the club, the Como. And everybody used to go through there, from the biggest dope boys to the biggest artists. You know what I'm saying? Went in there one night, and they had a skin to win contest. They had a take it off contest. That's what they called it, the take it off contest. Me and Clay get up there, and we start chanting skin to win. Pull it all the way down. Skin to win. Off what they were playing in the background. And the girls started doing it. I immediately went to the crib and started pinning a record while Clay was producing the track. We left the club, went straight to the crib. He broke out the SP 1200 and he started with the sample, pull it all the way, pull it all the way. And that was his voice. He sampled his voice doing it. Man, before we knew it, we went out of town. The record's out now. We hear the record in the clubs. We hear it on the radio. But the most iconic and ironic thing that we came across was, you know, I'm still young. I'm about 17 when Pull It All the Way Down came out. So I like the Jet magazines because I like the calendar girls. The Jet beauties. I love the Jet beauties. Beautiful women of all shades and hues.
And the top single.
Come on now.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking at the beauty queens, the Jet beauty, and flip to the back to see the chart. And as I went down, I saw Hammer was #1. Then I saw Keith Sweat. Then I saw Troop. And then I saw something that said BeatmasterClay D, Prince Rahiem, Pull It All the Way Down. Bro, when I saw that in Jet magazine, I knew right then, I said, Clay, man, we did it, bro. We here.
Yeah.
We here. We fought to get here. Because you got to keep in mind, this label that we were signed to, Vision Records, they didn't believe in promoting their artists. So everything we did, we got off the muscle.
Right.
We tell them, print us up 100 test press. We finna hit the road with these.
Yeah.
We go straight into the club with DJs we've built rapport with, hand it to them, and they spin it for us.
So y'all had to put in groundwork.
Dog, we got the streets first. We made the streets love us before radio would play us.
Right.
You understand me? Radio didn't want to play what we was doing in the beginning.
Right.
We could get no airplay.
It was tough for all booty music back then.
Dog, listen. They thought it was a joke. They thought it was a fad. They thought it was something that was going to go away.
Right.
But I tell people this all the time. When you think about bass music, some people call booty shake.
Right.
When you think about that music that started in the belly of Florida, in Dade County.
Oh, yeah.
You understand me? And what's going on right now with this trap music, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
They've taken the elements that we created, slowed it down, and use them right now. And they call it trap. It went from bass to crunk when Little John stepped in.
Right.
But what most didn't understand, even with that, the reason that Little John, aside from the fact that musically he was on point, he was a genius. He knew how to put things together.
Right.
But you can research, Google, XXL magazine article that Little John did himself, where he made mention that he was in Vision Records, which is the studio me and Clay helped build.
He said it in an interview.
And he mentioned that that's where he learned.
Right.
Up under us.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Bass music. He came from bass
music.
music.
He came from that.
He was on he the one produced the So Del Bass All Stars.
Exactly.
My Boo, that with all the songs on it. Yeah, that's Lil Jon.
Yeah, trust me.
He was in bass music first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I keep trying to explain people, crunk was nothing but a derivative of bass.
Yeah.
He took the elements, slowed them down.
Slowed it down, yeah.
And he did the same thing. John to crunk was what Clay D was to bass. They had a distinctive voice that all it took was you to hear that voice, and the energy level on that record went through the roof.
Went through the roof, yeah.
You understand me? John had that same power because he was tutored by Clay D.
Clay, yeah.
You feel me? So
that's why he was such a power, yeah. With
he was so prominent.
Yeah.
He made his voice a stamp.
Right.
Something that you hear that voice, you ought to. That's Lil Jon.
Yeah.
Anytime you heard Clay on the record, you knew that was Clay.
Yeah.
There was no disputing it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like as of today, I feel like we've lost that kind of art in a sense in music today because that's how you identified, you couldn't, back then before videos got popularized, you only could hear the artist.
That's correct.
So, but you could tell who was who by their voice.
Correct.
Because everybody had distinctive voices. Like you could tell the difference between a Tina and Aretha.
Definitely, definitely. Nowadays, especially when it comes to this rap genre,
right?
I can't lie, man. I'm kind of disappointed because the era I came from, it was a sin to sound like another artist.
Yeah, it was.
Like you would get really ushered out the game because everybody's attacking you for trying to sound like this person.
You don't have no originality.
Now, that's what's popping.
It's popping. It's popping.
And I don't understand that. I don't come from that. And I get what the young people are saying about it's not about lyrics anymore. It's about swag over a record. Listen, I feel you, but do everybody got to swag the same?
Right.
Does everybody swag got to sound the same way with the auto tunes and the cadence? And I'm like, God damn.
Right.
Like, I can't separate artists this artist from that artist because they all sound alike and all track selections sound alike. So it's like, who the fuck is this? Oh, I thought that was Lil Baby.
I did too. I'm like that. I'm like that now. I'm like that.
So it's like, damn, man. I came from an era where, like, this new generation of rap, they have such a bigger responsibility than we had.
Right.
Okay? When I was coming up, before I even entered into the game, I listened to the Rahems. I listened to the Public Enemies. You know, these are the artists that I heard. I heard the Polo G's and, you know what I'm saying, the Biz. We had our comedy, we had our political, we had our gangster, and we had our dance, raw basses and all of that. We had all of that. We lost that with this generation that's in music now because they don't feel that it's necessary.
They don't have the hit. They don't know the history. A lot of female rappers getting in the game don't even know who Lil Kim is most.
And that's sad.
That's sad.
That's real sad, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a shame that they have been able to be successful in this industry all this time without full knowledge of those who knock the gateways and those barriers down for them to do what they're doing.
They don't even understand how far as a parental sticker, like Uncle Luke had to go against the government just for that sticker, but just for you to cuss on your record.
Listen, man. When you speak and tap in on that, you know, I'm gonna say this, man. The one thing that I always wanted people to understand is that Luke was the face of bass music. Luke and the Two Live Crew, they were the face.
Right.
There was a whole bunch of other artists that stamped that sound.
Yeah.
You talking about Young and Restless. You talking about Gucci Crew 2. You talking about MC80E, Gigolo Tony, the Enforcers.
Right.
Like, I could go on. Missy Miss, the Get Fresh Girls. Man, I could go on for days.
Right.
Little Shabazz, one of my close partners to this day. You know what I'm saying? And he still travels when tours with me. He just unfortunately contracted COVID. I'm praying my brother be all right. You know what I mean? He'll be back on the road with me the next show.
Yeah.
Man, like, Luke stood up because all of us made explicit records.
Yeah.
You know, Pull It All the Way Down was raw. The Skin to Win was the raw version.
Raw.
Shake Them Titties was what it was.
Oh, yeah.
You understand me? And that was the title of the record, Shake Them Titties.
Right, right.
You feel me? So it was like we all did that. Right. And we all had our own lanes.
Right.
Again, because Luke owned his own label and was able to filter that money into himself.
That's what made him.
He had an edge over every other artist that was signed to a label.
Right.
My label, Vision Records, was not putting money behind the artists.
Right.
They were the type of label that, all right, we're going to put this record out. We're going to throw it up against the wall. If it stick, we're going to run with it.
Right.
So to say they put time and effort and planning into it, nah. Me and Clay just were creative enough to create great records, not knowing as kids we were making records that would become classic.
Be classics, right. To this day.
We didn't understand. We were having fun.
Right.
We were doing what we enjoyed doing.
Right.
What I felt I was always destined to do. Right. I remember my mom telling me, boy, start making all that noise, spitting all over the damn place. Not knowing that spitting all over the place would one day make me a legend. Right. You know, and open so many doors.
So many doors.
Yeah.
So question. From far as you remember, when can you remember like when Booty Shake, when bass music was like declining and the music was changing and there wasn't that many sales on the bass music because it was a new sound coming out? What year and like what was your mind state around that time?
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. When I think back on that, honestly, I gotta say, right after the 12 gauge Southern Players Deuce era, 69 it came in, 95 South it came in. And
so they was a newer wave.
They were the newer wave.
Okay, so they wasn't around.
They weren't.
They came newer.
No, they were the newer wave. So what I'll say is this.
Okay.
For my sound, for the predecessors of this game, of the bass movement, our decline really started around like 94. Okay. Because if you can think about 94, I signed the Island Def Jam. Mm-hmm. I was the first bass artist to sign a 6-figure deal of that stature. No bass artist before me had done it. Mm. And I stand on that. Luke had a couple of lucrative deals himself, and he wound up getting signed to Island after me. But even with him having the muscle of Island behind him, the records that when they got put out, they did nothing.
Yeah, they did nothing. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had a whole machine behind me. He had the same machine behind him.
Right.
We couldn't sell 100,000 units that easy no more. It was hard. So our sound was phasing out, and it was ushering in the new sound, which was Southern Players, 12 gauge, Deuce, and Pressure, you know, Mr. David. And then here comes 69 Boys and 95 South out of Jacksonville, and they just took it to a whole nother place.
So so that new class around that time, okay, tag team.
Tag team, they were definitely a part of it.
They from Atlanta or Florida?
They from Atlanta.
Atlanta, okay. Yep. Quad City DJs.
Quad City DJs, they from Florida.
They from Florida. Okay.
Jacksonville.
Okay, cool. And
Tin Can, all of them cats that came out.
From Augusta.
Top Secret from Augusta.
So all they called it the new class.
They were the new era, the new way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So around that time, so that started fading out towards the Lil Jon Crunk era.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Oh, okay. But you know the crazy thing about it? The bass music is now coming back. Well, it is back now.
Oh, yeah, it's back.
People are sampling it.
Yes, sir.
People are sampling like all, because y'all have the greatest bass booty shaking party records of all times.
Damn right.
I mean,
and I stand
of
on
all
that.
times. Y'all do.
I stand on that, man.
Y'all do. It's like y'all music can be played today, and for those that actually know that record will get up and dance.
Oh yeah, and they're gonna go hard.
They're gonna go hard.
They're gonna go listen
hard.
I remember. It's funny that you say that. I remember I did a show a couple of months back, man, and everybody in the show, hair's done, hair laced. After my set, man, perms done fell, shirts sticking to their body. It was like we was kids, because that's the type of energy we get. We like to have fun on stage, man, and we just like to get involved with the people, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, our music did that, and it's sad and unfortunate that music today drives these kids to kill.
Yeah.
You know,
the music's totally different, because like if you go from the 90s, like the 90s era, where it was party music, fun, you had the house parties, you had the clubs where, you know, the women are dancing,
damn right.
You know, and the guys are dancing. It's none of that no more in the clubs no more.
Man,
it's
dudes stand on the wall looking at pretty women dance nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm like, all these gorgeous women and y'all want to stand on the wall looking hard? Man, y'all dudes must be gay. What's wrong with y'all, man?
Yeah.
And trust me, I'm far from homophobic.
Yeah.
My favorite uncle was openly gay.
Yeah.
God bless the dead, my Uncle Clarence. Loved him to death, loved him with a passion.
Right.
But my thing is, I don't understand that.
Right.
We go to parties. When we went to parties, man, we left out of there sweaty, possibly with a woman. You understand me?
Right.
We had a good time. These dudes want to be too hard nowadays. Everybody a thug, everybody a killer, everybody a drug dealer. I don't get that mindset. And to certain extents, I have to say and take responsibility for certain things that we implemented in music.
Yeah.
You know, because we were very disrespectful.
Yeah, I was a pioneer of nasty.
We were nasty. We were nasty. It was a difference.
Pioneers of nasty.
We made girls get nasty. We made them a little fresh.
Yeah.
Made the dudes a little more mannish.
Yeah.
But we didn't entice you to go kill nobody.
No, you never did.
We never told you to sell no dope.
Never did.
We ain't do that. That's not what we was about. We was about having fun.
Having fun.
So for those 3 minutes or 4 minutes that record spent, whatever you was worrying about before that record came on, that shit went out the window because you partying now.
Yeah, you be too tired of doing anything
Come on
after
now.
the record.
Come on now. Who gonna fight after goddamn a whole bass set? Man, sit your tired ass down. Nigga, you can hardly breathe. And I'm dead serious, bro. Like, our parties were just that.
Right.
Parties, man. It's like now, when I have an 18-year-old daughter, I'm fearful to let her go to a house party or a party at a club, or
right,
because the dynamic and the mindset of the youth nowadays isn't what it once was.
Right.
You know, we always made sure whoever was at the party made it home safe.
Right.
At the end of the night, and there was no bullshit at the party.
Right.
You had 1 or 2 fights, but those was fist fights. Right. Everybody gets to go home at the end of the night.
Right.
Nowadays, that one word that offended him could turn into multiple people being shot that had nothing to do with that situation.
Right.
So how do we change that dynamic? See, that's where I'm at because, 2 years ago, March 13, 2019, my 16-year-old son was murdered in the streets of Hempstead, and he was murdered by a coward, a grown man who was afraid to fight, So prior to my son being murdered, I was already speaking to the youth, advocating, right, and letting them know, like, we need to change the mindset of the way you think because y'all are eliminating each other. And if this continues, we won't have a future.
Right.
You're robbing us of our future.
Right.
Every black man that kills another black man, you don't know what the potential of that child was that you just clipped. You don't know if that man was the one that was going to change the whole dynamic of how we living right now, the pressures that we're dealing with in politics.
Right.
You understand me? There was a 22-year-old Democrat who was in office and mysteriously wound up dead in his home recently. Mm. These things have to stop, bro. So me personally, I use my platform to speak to the people. I'm no pastor, I'm no minister, but I have a duty as an older artist, to, when I see the youth, especially younger people in my audience, I'm gonna target them. We're gonna have a conversation from that stage.
Right.
And y'all gonna feel where I'm coming from because I need y'all to step into my world. Feel my pain as a father who's lost a son. For the most part, people always get to see the pain of a mother. There's seldomly a father that will willingly step up and speak.
Right.
But we hurt too.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you something, that's a stain that will never go away. They don't know what they took from me when they did that, man. My boy has so much potential. I'm not the father that sits and paints his son as the choir boy. That wasn't my child. He was a hard head like his daddy. He was a hard head. You feel me?
Right.
But him being mischievous as a youth should not have cost him his life. You understand me? I went through that. I was rambunctious. I was out there. I was all over the place. It didn't cost me my life. We were back then warriors, gladiators.
Right.
The best man gonna walk away from this duel victorious. But we get to fight another day.
Yeah.
He didn't give my son that opportunity. He felt that, and the sad part is my son wasn't even the intended target. His best friend was. So that was like a double hurt. You meant to kill his friend that was with him, but you wound up killing my son. Man, I'm gonna tell these youth, man, y'all need to rethink shit. Half of the shit that y'all arguing, fussing, and beefing about right now ain't gonna matter 10 years down the line. It might not even matter 5 years down the line. That shit might not even fucking matter next month, bruh. But you done took somebody's child, and now your family crying because your ass locked up behind the wall for doing that crime, for doing some dumb shit. That possibly, if y'all were level-headed enough to say, man, let me just walk away from this situation, give this situation a little space and time, maybe we can come and reconciliate and we can talk about this and iron this situation out. Now, I know every situation ain't like that. It can't be worked out. Right. But for those situations that can't be worked out, make the choice to just not fuck with that motherfucker. Right. You ain't got to take a life because you don't get along with a person that you once was like this with. Right. How y'all go from this to nigga, I'ma kill you?
Right.
Man, if you ain't violating my mama, my family, there ain't nothing that serious worth me killing you for.
At all.
If I'm not defending what's mine, I'm not taking your life because we had words. But again, man, the youth is so disrespectful nowadays, bro. I don't understand the mindset where it's cool to get on a record and talk about you smoking on a dead guy. Like, as a father, I heard those records when my son got murdered. I heard little cats out there making these little records talking about they smoking on JoJo. if I could just sit down with them, man, them young kings, because that's all it would take. A real sit down, heart to heart, and let them see a king before them and help them to understand the gravity of what they did in that moment. Because it didn't just affect me. When my son was murdered, his youngest sister was 4 years old. I just did a show for Classy Lady Entertainment. It's Tanya Butler.
Shout out, Mom, dude.
You know, and she's about to be one of my allies and business partners, and we got some things that we're going to be working on together. But at that show, I explained to everyone in attendance that I watched my family cry 5 months straight. That's 150 days, 150 nights. And that 4-year-old cried for her brother every fucking night, bro. Every night. You can't take that pain away. You can't erase that from her head. She's 6 now. She still cries out for her brother. My other daughter, Sanai, she was 9. The night before, we had just celebrated her birthday. We didn't know in less than 24 hours later, her brother would be gone. So he gets murdered the day after her birthday. That put her in a whole different place. Man, if I could say anything, kings, we got to do better, man. Young kings, y'all got to make better choices, man. To these OG niggas out here that perpetuate this shit.
Yeah.
Man, y'all are an embarrassment. Y'all are still boys draped in grown men bodies, man. There's nothing manly about condoning these kids running around here popping off on each other. If y'all ain't intervening to have these conversations when y'all see the shit heating up, man, lay your ass down somewhere because you already dead, bruh.
Right.
You already dead. You might as well lay it down, bruh. I'm frontline and I'ma always be that. I'm 10 times that now because I got the strength of my son JoJo on my back and I carry that every day. So I will reach out any person that sees this interview, man. Y'all know how to get in contact, man. I'll leave my social media. On Instagram, it's Prince Rahiem 305. Facebook, it's Prince Rahiem. You know what I'm saying, man? I want to talk to y'all. If y'all open the conversation, let's open this dialogue, man, so that I can help my young kings be the kings they are destined to be, man. Real shit. We got a government and a system that does not give a fuck about us.
Right.
We understand that. We're going to get in where we fit in. That's who we are as a people. We are creative. So you can throw us anywhere in the world, we are going to earn. We're going to get it in how we live. But we've lost our youth because, like, the grandmothers are so fucking young now.
I'm saying grandma's in their 40s.
Grandma's 30s.
Yeah, late 30s. Or late 30s.
Grandma's in their 30s now.
Yeah.
I had the big mama type grandma.
Oh, yeah. Big mama.
You feel me? Grandmama that when she say something, my uncles that's in their 30s and 40s, shutting the fuck up real quick. You feel me? That's what I came from.
Yeah. We don't have that no more.
That shit gone. That shit is gone, bro.
Yeah.
Been gone.
Yeah.
So it's still like babies raising babies.
Right.
And grandma still want to party because she young.
Yeah.
So if grandma ain't got it fully locked in, look at what she's projecting to her female granddaughter, her nieces. Look at what she's projecting because she ain't lived her life yet.
Right.
And she feel like, all right, my child grown enough, done sat here and had this damn baby. I ain't raising this baby too.
Yeah.
I'm still want to live my life a little. I need to party. I need to get out. I done raised you.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's not where it's at.
Right.
You know, we got to figure some things out, man.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely got to figure some things out.
All right, so but we slide off, man, on NewbieVeT. So how can they get in contact with you And what are a few updates you got coming up for you?
Man, all right. To get in contact with me, man, it's real simple. On Facebook, as I stated, it's Prince Rahiem, PrinceRahiem. On Instagram, it's Prince Rahiem 305. On Twitter, it's Prince Rahiem, the number 2. You can hit me on my email, bookprincerahiem@gmail.com. And man, listen, I'm open to anybody who's open to talk to me, man. I want to save lives, man. My career is on a whole different high now, man. I'm 34 years in the game, almost 35 years in the industry, and I'm still blessed and honored to do what I've been passionate about since a youth. So now I'm in the process of helping other artists. I have an artist, Lorenzo, R&B out of Miami. I have an artist named Shanice, R&B out of Aiken. I have an artist named Hazel Grace that I'm molding and cultivating. She's out of West Palm Beach, Florida. I got a couple of dates coming up. Tampa, I believe next weekend. I'm not certain. Still got to see if we locking that one in. But I got Summerfest, Labor Day weekend in Mobile, Alabama, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So, you know, if y'all in that area, anywhere around Mobile, Pensacola, any of those surrounding areas, man, fall through. It's going to be nothing but an old school reunion again, dog. I'm talking about me, Southern Players, Young and Restless, Black Pack, my girl India, Coffee Bean, who sang my boo from formerly of Ghost Town DJ, LA Snow, and 95 South, all on one day. So y'all come through, Mobile. We're going to be there.